Cincinnati's police department has been a model for modern policing for nearly 20 years. It's due to the collaborative agreement signed in 2003 following civil disturbances 2 years earlier. This agreement is still being followed, but times have changed and a new updated document is in the works. The civil unrest stemmed from the officer Stephen Roach shooting an unarmed black man, Timothy Thomas, after a foot chase. The collaborative agreement restructured policing along the lines of community problem solving instead of over-policing. At first, there was pushback from law enforcement, but it was agreed to under the direction of U.S. District Court Judge Susan DeLotte.
So I brought them in and I said, we're not going to tolerate that from now on. Either you cooperate or there are going to be sanctions. And eventually, frankly, I did hold the police department in contempt and the chief of police.
Civil rights attorney Al Gerhardstein says training was restructured, tasers were introduced, cruiser cams and body cams are now in use, and employee tracking was reinstated. A federal monitor was appointed to oversee implementation of the agreement. Interim Cincinnati Police Chief Teresa Teague and her predecessor, Chief Elliot Isaac, said that changed everything.
So they get a piece of the collaborative agreement. Miss Iris Rowley is gracious enough to come into the academy and teach them about it. And then once they are finished with their training, when they hit the road, they will be working side by side with experienced officers who already know the significance of the collaborative agreement.
That if an independent body could come to the same conclusion, then the citizens of our city could be confident that we were doing the right thing in our agency.
Iris Rowley signed the original agreement as a member of the Black United Front in efforts to update it.
There's so many things on the horizon that our agreement has helped other cities do some significant work in designing to their responses to the needs of the people.
One thing new to the Cincinnati agreement was a citizen complaint authority. Gabriel Davis heads the agency, which reviews complaints about police conduct.
And then when the facts indicate that something wrong occurred, we say that as well. And we say that the policy was violated and we speak to that need. And so I think that by being an honest broker and by ensuring that we follow those facts, we retain the credibility that we're going to need when it comes to having difficult conversations or having to deal with individuals who may not like one call or the other. We can always point to our integrity and to the unbiased nature of our work.
Problem-solving oriented policing, using the data to interrupt violent crime and to hold violent criminals accountable, but doing so that doesn't lead to over-policing. That was the North Star, that was the governing principle, and we got all of the folks, the stakeholders, to agree to that, and that's what's been the strength of the collaborative over the years.
There is no target date for finishing an updated document. Meanwhile, Cincinnati police officers will continue to follow provisions of the agreement as more and more agencies from across the country adopt the best practices that have been used in the Queen City for decades. Thanks for tuning in. This is Bearcast News reporter Maria Osnaya.